Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. Here we are together again on the radio. And good to have you here. Good to be sitting here. Very enjoyable. The email continues to pour in, and we encourage you to continue writing us, by the way. Sometimes you may not hear the email address because we do it at the end of the hour. Let me give it to you at the beginning of the hour so you've got it. And I do check the email while I work. So anything you'd like me to talk about or anything you'd like to put in, or maybe you've got an opinion, or maybe you just want me to help you solve a problem of some kind, you can send it to Tom at blowmeuptom.com. Tom at blowmeuptom.com. Now, look at this email I received here. Just amazing stuff. I'm getting so many of these. And I really appreciate the mail I'm getting, by the way. A listener named Brittany heard a show I did. We talked about the old Mary Tyler Moore show. And the reason we talked about it was not because of the show itself. We talked specifically about the character that Mary played on television. The show came on the air in 1970 when Mary was 37 years old. She was playing a 30-year-old woman who came to the big city, Minneapolis, after her engagement to a doctor broke off. And the theme music of the show shows Mary driving to the big city. At the beginning of the show, you see the opening sequence. There's Mary driving to the big city. And the song, wondering how she'll make it on her own. We speculated on the character that Mary Tyler Moore played, Mary Richards. What kind of life she'd be living today. And among other things, the character would be 67 years old, as opposed to Mary Tyler Moore, who's 74. The character would be 67 years old, and I speculated that today she'd probably be eating cat food and complaining that she doesn't have any money and no one to support her. So for all the talk about her making on her own and how revolutionary the character was back in the 70s, and they still write about this too, that the reality is that despite the fact that she worked on her own, did her own thing, you know, moved to the big city, got a job, lived alone, was single, went out and dated and paid for all her own stuff. The fact is that Mary didn't make a lot of money. Mary could hardly have a lot of money to put away for retirement, and Mary would probably be eating cat food today. Just speculating. You may recall that show. Brittany wrote in and said, "Hey, Tom, I was listening to your radio program, and my favorite part of your show is before the chaos begins, before all the belittling and the callers, the bare bones option on a selected icebreaker from yourself. I heard you mention listeners emailing you reference to the top household income, consequently unmarried men and women, and an all-time first of statistically being also unmarried. That's a statistic we spent a little time talking about. Men and women. First time in history of the United States, the majority of households are not headed by a married person. That's first time in the history of the United States that more than half of all women do not have a spouse. Yes, we did talk about that. She said, at first I added it up quickly, reading between the lines. However, once referring to the Mary Tyler Moore role model as a 70s all-empowering woman example, I came into question of my fantabulous father. First off, anything in the media seems to equate to crap in reality anyway. Men typically not only somehow make it on their own, but support a female. Couch potato plus children. However, I got nervous when you mentioned, basically, that although Mary Tyler Moore's character went out and got a J.O.B., she also still spent her money shopping like the typical woman, and that statistically, women that are 67 now are barely hanging on. My question for your clarification is this. I'm 24 years old. I've chosen not to get married with the help of your wonderful, obnoxious input every day for the same reasons as your sons. I make my own money. A modest $60K in Arizona, and I don't want a guy wrecking my investments, my real estate, 401K, etc. Overall, I'm scared to sacrifice my choices under a man's thumb. I can support myself, don't want kids. Men don't even know how much a typical woman needs anyway. Why get married? In fact, yesterday I changed a flat tire in the rain. A guy pulled off but stood and watched after he stood over the tire, dumbfounded. How to complete the task, poor guy. He offered to call roadside assistance. That's when I told him I was all right, and after 10 minutes of getting rained on by his ignorance, completed in the following 5. But I'm scared. I know everything you say is general and for men, and I, too, believe a majority of women are stupid. My pet peeve isn't the men that believe I'm stupid, because that's expected from the experience they've had with other females. It's the women that support that judgment. I can't stand it. That being said, I'm wondering if you feel the Mary Tyler Moore character couldn't make it on her own due to her being a typical, stupid female. Or if women in general are damned if they do, damned if they don't. Married, single with job, it doesn't matter. They steal men's money if they marry, and in the end, they can't even financially make it on their own. I mean, when you sum it all up, what's my motivation here? Should I just slip my wrists on this one? And she puts parentheses. Sarcasm. Now, her email goes on, but let's talk about that issue. You see, I believe that women are generally doomed financially because women are fascinated with buying crap. Women are not happy unless every square inch of their place is filled with some unrelated knick-knack or tchotchke, or there's a plant everywhere, there's a pot everywhere, there's a hand towel everywhere. Women are constantly obsessed with shopping and buying crap. And they do it to whatever level of income that whatever they make, they spend it. I find it fascinating. You know, I do business with 3 different companies for my investments. I have accounts with Wells Fargo Investments. I have accounts with Fidelity, accounts with Vanguard. And I'm fascinated how often these companies feel the need to have special seminars for women on investing. Now, as private businesses, they have the right to do that, and I certainly encourage them to do whatever they need to do to market themselves and make money. But isn't it interesting that these companies feel the need to have separate and special seminars for women on investing? And I believe that's because many women do not invest. They don't understand investing. They don't want to understand investing. They don't care. You see, I do believe that most women's retirement plan is based on Prince Charming arriving at the front door and taking over. Paying off your student loans, paying off your American Express bill, paying off your Visa bill, paying off your MasterCard, taking over the condo payments, or selling your condo and then moving into his place. I do believe that is the investment plan for most females. I really do. I do not believe that women make plans for being widows. I do not believe that women make plans for the right guy never coming along. I do not believe women make plans for divorce. A woman's financial plan is, I'll make only as little as I can get away with making. I'll pay as few of the bills as I can be responsible for. And then I will spend as much as I can on crap. New handbags, new shoes, new belts, new clothes, all kinds of $25 moisturizers and $10 lipsticks, as much stuff as I can jam into a shopping bag. And you have to understand that this is all stuff that ultimately will have a value of 0. You know, when I buy a mutual fund, chances are it will never go to 0. It may go down. I may lose 5%, 10%, or in a really risky fund, I may lose 25% a year. but never 100%, like your lipstick. Women buy stuff that deteriorates in value and ultimately gets thrown out or put in a closet somewhere. Clothes that go out of style, handbags that go out of style. There's no investment plan. There's no savings plan. The plan is Mr. Right or Prince Charming or Mr. Big or somebody's going to come along and pay all the bills. And if it doesn't work out with Mr. Right, Mr. Big, or Prince Charming, you'll divorce him and then take as much as you can get to pay for your continued shopping habit. I do not think it's an accident that women are in poverty when they hit 65 or 70 or whatever. I do not think that's an accident. It is not the fault of men who don't save enough for retirement and leave them enough or whatever. It's the fault of women who don't plan for themselves. They need special seminars for the little ladies to come in and learn about investing. Because women don't want to know about that stuff. They don't care. Are there exceptions to the rule, you idiots? Sure there are. So what? Generally speaking, when I have met women, including women with IQs, okay, including women with brains, ask them how much they've got squirreled away. Ask them how much they have in savings. 9 times out of 10, the answer is 0 and 0. That's the reason why I believe that Mary Richards, the character Mary Tyler Moore played on TV, would be 67 and eating dog food today. Look at the clothes Mary wore. Ever watch old reruns of the Mary Tyler Moore Show? My God. She had this huge closet with all these amazing, amazing outfits. And she made, how much did she make? $18,000 a year or something like that? 1970? Well, of course she's broke today. The character, that is. Of course she is. Of course she is. And most of you ladies will be too. That's just the reality of it. Why are people shocked when you hear that old ladies are eating dog food? Or when you hear that they're living, in poverty? Or when you hear that they could just barely making ends meet? Why are people surprised at that? Your retirement money was spent years ago at department stores on creams and lotions and makeup and perfume and handbags and shoe stores. And come on. Of course they're on dog food right now. And I think a lot of you women listening, you're going to end up on dog food. Should we feel sorry for you?
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
I think you need to sit back and double-check your priorities.
Oh, please. My priorities are that we start making things fair in this country for men, because men have gotten their asses kicked.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.
The Tom Leykis Show. At 1-800-5800-TOM. This is Ron. Hello.
Hey, Tom, how you doing?
Doing okay, Ron.
You must be a prophet, because those words, those prophetic words of wisdom that you just gave us were both epical and biblical, and I think you should make it the second chapter of the man's Bible that you need to write.
Yep. You know, someday that'll happen.
Awesome. Thank you, Dad.
Thank you, son. Appreciate the call. Yeah. Kristen on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi.
So let me ask you a question. You've mentioned many times before that you don't want your woman to be working. You want her home when you get home from work, and you want her making you dinner and giving you a little massage.
No, I said if I'm going to get married.
What's that?
I said if I'm going to get married.
Right. So regardless, if you're, the topic about women planning for their retirement, if they're there taking care of their kids and taking care of their man, how do you expect them to plan for their retirement?
Well, I do believe that everybody should have a prenup. And I believe if the plan is to have children, that provisions for that should be negotiated by the woman at the time they decide to get married.
Okay, well, what about your woman? I mean, let's just say theoretically you were going to get married again, because we all know that, that probably will happen looking at your track record.
No, I can tell you it probably won't happen based on my last experiences.
All right, well, even so, if even the girl that you're dating, you don't want her working.
That's not what I said. That is not what I said. First of all, I don't want any women living in my house.
Right.
And so it's actually the exact opposite. I want them to have their own place, their own job, their own career.
Let's say at any given time half of the public is married, and you're teaching these men to be with these women who cater to them and don't go out and make their own money and are away from the house. And how do you expect these women to plan
again? They should. I go give the whole plan. There should be a prenup. I tell everybody they need to have a prenup.
Well, what does that do for the woman?
Well, dear, prenups protect both the man and the woman.
Well, but what's the woman who signs a prenup who doesn't have a job and is taking care of the
She
kids?
can say, I'm not going to marry you unless you pay me X amount of dollars.
All right.
She can say that, and then the guy can decide. And then the guy can decide if he wants to marry her. He can decide if that's a worthwhile investment for himself or not.
Well, then a prenup sounds like a great retirement plan.
Well, it's only a great retirement plan if you negotiate good terms for yourself.
Okay, well, then that's what we should be telling these women. But
most women say they don't even want to sign a prenup. They don't even want to know what it's about, just like you. They assume...
Well, I don't need one because, my husband would never have that kind of an expectation of me.
Well, you still need a prenup, I think.
Not to mention that I have a job and have a retirement plan and I'm going to be able to support myself should that need ever happen, which it won't, but... I just, just once again, it's an example of you giving advice when really in your own personal life, it's not the way it is.
Dear, actually, it is the way it is. And in fact, as I have said on this program many times, all the things I teach on this program are based on mistakes I made in the past.
Right.
So just because I did these things in the past doesn't mean I will do them in the future. And it doesn't mean I don't know what I'm talking about. It means I made mistakes in the past, and I have admitted that on the air many times. So don't make it sound like I pretend to be perfect. It's the exact opposite. I said that every rule of Leykis 101, except for having children, I broke originally. I did not know that, first of all, I didn't have a list of rules when I started. It's based on mistakes I made.
All right, fair enough. Well, listen, I've been a long-time listener, and I've been on hold to talk to you many, many times before, and my husband always says, hang up, do not talk to him, and I'm glad I finally got through to you.
Thank you, Chris.
I do agree with 90% of what you say, and you provide a lot of entertainment for me on my commute home.
Thank you, Kristen.
Thanks, bye-bye.
Appreciate the call. Scott, on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Tom, man, it's a pleasure. Long-time listener, called a couple times. Yeah, I have a girlfriend that I'm living with right now. She's from L.A. and really into the whole fashion thing and just spends and spends and spends.
And did you tell Dean she's a live-in?
Yes.
Why do you allow that?
Well, it is her money. She's a good girl.
It's only her money if she's paying for half of everything.
Yes. And that is correct. She is paying half of, the rent, half of, when we go out for dinner and stuff. I mean, she's a good girl in that aspect.
So you do not pay the majority of the bills?
Correct.
She pays half and you pay half?
Exactly.
And if she's short of money, then she has to live with it or deal with it. You don't give her any money?
Correct. I mean, she's got a pretty good job. It's just the saving aspect is just out the window.
But you understand, this is a red flag as far as if you would ever consider marrying somebody like that?
Yeah.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why it's a red flag.
Okay.
Most women who want to get married want to have children.
Yeah.
When they have children, they don't have such good jobs in many cases. Many times they step it down.
That's true.
And then you're expected to take over.
Yeah, and temporarily that could be possible. I mean, I'm doing pretty well.
Why would you want to?
Yeah, I mean that's true. But I mean, for that 6-month period that she would.
Well, you're assuming that she would only be out of work for a 6-month period.
Yeah, that's
I can tell you from personal experience. I've had more than one female attorney who had a kid.
Ooh.
And here's what happens. First, they start by not coming to work for several months. Then, after that, they come to work, but they don't come every day. Or they don't come for the whole day. Now, attorneys work on billable hours.
Sure do.
So if they're only coming in 2 or 3 days a week instead of 5, what's that doing to their salary?
Yeah, cutting it up.
And who do you think is going to be paying the difference?
Yeah, that's true.
Let's go a step further. Let's say you get married and stay married until retirement.
Right.
Who do you think is going to make up for her lack of saving down the line?
Yep.
You.
There's definitely some flags. But, however, we are moving possibly, out of L.A., and I think that might help.
Why are you doing that?
Why?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just down to San Diego.
What for? Because she got a better job?
She does. She does have a job that she can move with.
So what happens to your job?
My job gets bigger.
So you got a better job in San Diego she's coming with? Is that the deal?
Yes.
All right.
Potentially. I mean, it's not a solid deal, but that's the plan. And I think that would negate the spending of all that fashion BS that goes on in L.A.
Really?
Yeah. Because, I mean, all that, glamour and glitz is all in L.A. In San Diego, it's not, not...
Well, I want to tell you something. There's a lot of hot chicks in San Diego.
That's true.
And I didn't see a lot who were dressing down.
Yeah?
If you want to save money on fashion, move to Portland.
Got to be by the water, Tom.
Then you just you hit into LL Bean twice a year, get a lot of green stuff.
Well, I don't know. I'm going to give it a shot, though, She's a good girl. She's a Latin girl, too, so you'd be proud.
Well, I understand all that, but again, you've got to remember that this is going to fall on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Your shoulders. You will pay.
I guess I have some decisions to make, huh, Tom?
And by the way, she's Latin girl. I guarantee you she wants to have kids.
Not necessarily.
No, don't give me not necessarily. You have not asked her this question. If you say not necessarily, it's because you haven't asked her the question.
Yeah, we haven't had a lot of discussion about it.
Right. Scott, write this down.
All right.
One thing I have experience with is Latinas. Okay?
Okay.
All right. She will want to have kids.
All right.
There are exceptions to every rule. But my experience is 99 out of 100 want to have kids.
Ouch. It's a high percentage.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But Tom,
wait, before you move to San Diego with her, wouldn't it be a good idea to find out her opinion about something like that?
Yeah.
Are you afraid to find out what her opinion is?
No. No, I mean, we've talked about it, but we haven't, discussed it a whole lot. I mean, we're pretty cautious and all that good stuff.
What do you mean you're cautious?
Protection, rubbers, all that good stuff.
What birth control is she on? None?
No, she is. She's on birth control.
What kind?
I'm not exactly sure. I probably should know, huh?
Oh, you see what I mean?
Yeah,
Scott, you're heading down that road. You don't know what kind of birth control she uses, if any.
Right.
If any. Right?
Yeah,
You don't even know if she uses birth control.
She does. I've seen it in the bathroom.
What is it?
I don't know exactly what it is.
You don't know what it is. You sure it's birth control? Are you sure it's not like Monostat 7 or something? Are you sure it's not like yeast infection or something?
No.
You're sure?
I'm positive. 100% positive on that one.
How can you be with somebody and not know their opinion about that?
Well, I mean, I know she... I guess, I don't know. We just haven't talked about it,
No, I know why you haven't talked about it. You're afraid to find out the answer.
Yeah, well...
Right?
Yeah.
We can call her right now and ask her.
Oh, man, no way, Tom.
Why not? What are you afraid of? We're not breaking up with her or anything. We'll just call her up. We'll just ask her point blank. You know what? Blame it on me. I'll find out for you.
Well, I guess we've had like discussions, and she just said she's not ready in her career. That's for sure.
Well, that means that's a yes.
In the future, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And so, who do you think is going to pay for all those shopping excursions when she's flat on her back or staying home with the kids and can't be going to work all the time?
Yeah.
And who's going to pay for her retirement after she doesn't put anything away towards her own retirement?
That's what I'm working on, Tom. I'm working on that.
No, but
I mean, she's got this new job. She's got potential to make.
She's not going to change.
Well, if she doesn't change,
because that's how women see it. That's your job,
right? But she hasn't really given me a whole lot to leave. I mean, if I see this continuing down the road, then. Well, I
mean, you're going to move 110 miles away with a woman you don't know important things about. Right. And who has red flags.
Right, but it's my gig, so, even if
we go down there, it doesn't work out, I still got the good gig.
Yeah, but she's moving with you.
Right. So it's a headache, you're saying. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, once she moves with, you know what? It's one thing when she moves into your place when you're in your hometown. When she leaves town to follow you because you got a better job,
right?
She's going to start acting like the wife.
Yeah, but she's originally from Orange County, San Diego area.
Orange County and San Diego are two different areas, as anyone in San Diego or Orange County will tell you.
Yeah, that's true. She grew up in Orange County, but her folks live in San Diego. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and she'll never let you forget how she moved there because you had a job offer.
Ooh, you think she'll put that on me?
Of course.
I don't know, Tom.
I've moved in my career many times, and no matter how cheerfully a woman says, "Oh no, honey, I'll follow you anywhere," but you get there and things start to go south, they start reminding you.
Yeah. Yeah, but if the only problem is that, I mean, is that big of a problem? I mean,
the only problem is what? That she wants to have kids?
No, that
she doesn't save for retirement?
Correct.
That she spends money at a phenomenal rate on crap?
Right, but her money.
It's not the point. See, you say her money, but at some point it's going to be your money.
That's true.
Your money.
Well, Tom, I'm with you, though. I'm not going to get married.
You're living with her. You're not with me.
No, yeah, it's true, dude. That's true. Your rules are tough to follow sometimes, you know?
I think I'm pretty clear.
You are clear. You are definitely clear. But in this case, I'm going to have to disagree.
Yeah, you go right ahead. You know what? You're going to be one of those who calls me back. And you'll have to confess that you thought you knew more than I did.
I'll tell you what, I will. If
How many people have you heard say that on this show?
Too many. I'd like to say I'm different from them, but...
Yeah, I know you'd like to say that. Yes, I know. And I'd like to say the Easter Bunny is coming with a big basket of brightly colored eggs on Easter Sunday. I'd like to say that.
Man. Well, if it does go south, I'll give you a call and tell you how it did wrong. But love the show. And could you take me out with the bong hit?
Here you go.
Thanks, Tom.
Tom Leykis.
1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
What do you get for your girlfriend? Tell me about her.
Well, she's 30, single mother with a kid, and I work with her.
You get her a new boyfriend.
The Tom Leykis Show.
It's the Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. Thank you for tuning in. Stephanie, hello.
How are you?
Great.
Great. I'm calling because I'm a little confused on your reasoning about why older women are struggling financially in today's culture.
Yes, today's culture. I really can't speak to other days' cultures.
But you're talking about women who grew up in an era when business classes were not geared towards women.
We're not talking about business classes. You know what? Everybody who saves for retirement is not a college graduate. Well, by the way, I might add, I am not a college graduate.
Well, I'm not even talking about in college. You know,
business classes? What school is teaching business classes?
Hold on a second. You were talking about financial institutions offering classes geared towards women, correct?
Yes.
And I didn't quite understand your reasoning about
why would women need a special class? And the reason is because they are simple-minded when it comes to numbers and saving and investing. Because they don't want to know about that stuff. They don't care.
They don't want to know about it?
No, they don't.
They weren't exposed to it.
We weren't exposed to it. You know what? I wasn't exposed to it. Can I tell you something? I grew up in the poorest family I can possibly imagine. I grew up in the South Bronx in a one-bedroom apartment with 4 children in one bedroom. And my father did not exactly expose me to the stock market or to business or to being an entrepreneur or anything like that. I had to go out and learn about it because I was interested in being better than what I was.
And
so I will not buy what you're saying as an excuse.
Well, you were prepared because science and math classes were geared towards men.
Science and math had nothing to do with it.
It laid down a foundation.
For what?
For you to pursue your curiosities about investment.
Let me tell you something. When I was in school, science and math was available to everybody.
Available.
Yes.
Geared.
Women aren't geared. Women aren't interested in that stuff.
Well, if women aren't interested in that stuff, then why are these financial institutions providing these classes?
They're providing these classes. They provide these classes and they dumb them down. The reason they are for women is because they dumb them down so the little ladies can understand what's going on, because the little ladies have no interest in that.
Okay, the little ladies grew up in a time when,
the classes are not for 75-year-olds. The classes I talked about at Fidelity Investments, for example, are for women. Are for women your age.
Okay, and why do you think that those classes are offered? Because there's an
because the classes are offered because they want to get more revenue into Fidelity Investments.
Exactly. Where are they going to get?
But why do women need separate? Why couldn't they just have a class on money? Why do they need a class for women on money? And the answer is
market for it.
No.
If it comes down to the bottom dollar,
everybody's invited. When they have financial seminars, everybody's invited. They don't say it's for men only.
Well, if there wasn't.
The answer is because women aren't interested. That is why they try to cater to women, because women are not interested.
So then why are there all these classes?
Again, they have, can I tell you something? They've got classes for everybody, and then they have classes for women. Now, a class for everybody means men and women. The reason they have to have separate classes for women is because women don't go to these classes unless you gear them to women. Because women are not interested in this. They have less understanding of simple arithmetic, simple mathematics, simple stuff. Do you know I dated a woman one time who wanted to cook. She wanted to learn to cook. But she did not know that 2/4 equals 1/2. She did not know that 3/8 was...
No, that... Or
you'd be surprised how many women don't know stuff like that.
Well, I think the reason why there are classes geared towards women is because times have changed, and there's a need for it, and women need to catch up on the type.
Why do women need to catch up?
Because before, we lived in a culture where there was one income, and it was the male.
Oh, dear, you were not born yet when that culture existed. How does it affect you? It doesn't.
Well, things build upon history. So historically...
Oh, stop it. That is so lame. And by the way, speaking of history, my own family history, I came from a family of poor people. A bunch of losers and white trash, and a lot of heroin addicts and alcoholics and crazy. That was my family history. And I grew up in a poor family myself. My immediate family was poor. So it doesn't matter what society's history is.
I'm talking about basic public education.
Basic
math and science.
How much of this do you think came from public education? Do you really think that I became a multimillionaire because of stuff they taught at PS 70 in the Bronx? Do you really believe that?
No, I don't. But it did provide a direction and a foundation.
You are so wrong.
What happens when one of the world's biggest artists takes the world's largest stage? Sunday, February 4th on CBS, Prince is the Pepsi Super Bowl 41 halftime show. Millions will watch, one fan will win. To find out more, go to superbowl.com/Pepsi. No purchase necessary. Sweepstakes ends on February 4th, 2007. For details and a link to the official rules, log on to superbowl.com/Pepsi. Sponsored by PepsiCo Inc.
Tom Leykis. Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-866. The Tom Leykis Show.
Send us an email. Our email address is my name. It's Tom at blowmeuptom.com. That's Tom at blowmeuptom.com.
The Tom Leykis Show.